Facebook, but I haven't done the online on Zoom. It's my first online.
Cool, thanks for joining. Oh, it's super nice to see you. Oh, we miss you guys. Oh, right, let's get this. Oh, we're all a bit lax this morning, eh?
1 minute,
let's
12
go.
seconds. Done.
Done, right.
Come on, my loves.
See you
Come on, my
soon.
loves.
Right, just setting that up. All right, team.
Tell them how nice the fish are looking.
The fish, Chris wants me to tell the world, are looking fabulous. We've got happy fishies in the front. They're also looking huge. I genuinely think Chris and Jen, I know I say this all the time, keep replacing them. Let them die and then they don't want to tell me. All right, so boom, we have got 41 seconds to go. So today we're going to do a remix. So we're going to do Pilates 7-8 remix. So we're going to do, it's a bit of 7, bit of 8, so something new, but also something you're familiar with. So hopefully something just a little bit different to get our teeth into this morning. And oh, it's not chill 15. Oh gosh, look, let's go. Anyway, guys, when you're ready, come on down and just starting to find your way down to a wide leg child's pose. So knees out wide towards the edges of the mat. Oh, actually, don't. Sorry, scrap that. Oh gosh, look at me go. I'm in yoga mode. Right, dynamic bridge. We're going to come down to lie on our back to start off with. There we go. Sorry about that. All right, starting off on your back. You're all super, super welcome on into Pilates Remix. So this is 7-8 mashup. Just going to come down to start off lying down on our backs. Thinking about bringing the soles of the feet together. Letting the knees fall out wide if that feels comfortable. Of course, do feel free to take the feet further away from the body if you'd like, or of course spread the feet out wide on the mat and let the knees knock in, or extend out with the feet, whatever at all feels nice for you. Just closing the eyes and starting to find the breath. Really deep, full inhales. Exhales. So deep breaths into the lower belly, into the back body. And the shoulders relax, the hips fall open, the eyes and the jaw and the face soften. So remembering Pilates is all about slow, controlled movements. You really want to focus on maintaining control, maintaining alignment, thinking about engaging the core, thinking about working to the glutes, so we build healthy spine and posture and condition and strengthen the body. Remember, I'll give you different options. Do feel free to take them. All right, when you're ready, just taking one more really deep breath in. And then from there, starting to draw the knees in towards each other, giving yourself a little squeeze, a little stretch, just saying hello to the lower back, feeling that little stretch through the hammies, through the hips. And then from there, planting the feet down on the floor. So the feet are in line with the hips, knees are in the air. Thinking about shoulders down the back, back of the neck long, and starting to find that nice light engagement through the core that we work with in Pilates. So if you draw the tummy button all the way in, and then start to slowly release it, we're thinking about finding a nice squeeze in of the abs. Back of the neck is long, shoulders relax. And from there, we're going to inhale, press the feet into the floor, squeeze in the abdominals, and slowly, with control, ripple the spine, vertebra by vertebra, away from the floor, letting the chest float towards the chin. And then really, really, really slowly roll down again, as slow and as controlled as you can. Just working there, slowly rolling up, keeping those knees in line with ankles, powering on up, squeezing at the top, and then very, very slowly rolling down, vertebra by vertebra. So we're just starting to warm up the spine here, starting to feel in all of that strength you have through the abdominals. So a lot of what we're working with in Pilates is thinking about trying to find a nice neutral alignment through the pelvis and letting the spine stack tall. So if working here in our dynamic bridge, we're starting to feel all of that control we have over the pelvis position. So we squeeze the abs, maybe a little squeeze of the glutes, and slowly reset the spine and peel it away again. Thinking about all of that strength we have in the quads and the glutes as well, trying to keep the knees and ankles in alignment, trying not to let the knees splay in or out. We're just starting to find that lovely control through the body and starting to feel into that alignment. Warming up the spine as well. Taking one more little lift here. Squeezing the glutes at the top, stretching on up. And slowly controlled lower back down. From there, we're just going to give ourselves a little squeeze, a little stretch, saying hello to the lower back, shoulders relaxed, and the knees are going to float out over the hips. Lower back is on the floor. So remember, whenever the legs are off the floor, you want the lower back on the floor in Pilates. That's so we're working the abs and not straining the lower back. So squeeze in the abdominals, make sure the lower back is on the floor, the shoulders are relaxed. From there, slow toe tap. So keeping one foot up, we're going to slowly tap the toe on the floor, very slowly bring knee back up in line with knee, and take it to the side. So really simple little exercise to start with. What you're aiming to do here is make it as slow and controlled as possible, keeping every part of the body perfectly still except that lowering leg. Make sure that the lower back stays on the floor and you're trying to avoid wiggling from side to side with the hips or letting any strain come into the upper back. If you want to take it further, move into the double. So really slow lower and squeezy lift back up. So really try to slow it down, maybe lowering for a count of 4 and lifting for a count of 4. And when you slow it down, you should feel the abs really start to engage. To make it easier, you can take the toes so they're tapping closer to the hips. Or if you want to make it harder, the toes could tap further from the hips. So increasing that lever length is going to make the abdominals work harder. Again, keeping the upper body relaxed. Try to be slow. If you want to make it harder again, find that point where you feel the body is working its hardest and maybe just hold there a moment and then reset. So thinking about finding that lovely controlled squeezy movements through the abs. We're getting to the lower abdominals here, really important stabilizer for the lower back. Shoulders stay relaxed, breath steady for another 5, slow and controlled. 4, well done. Deep breath in and out, 3, strong through the core, 2, and 1, release. From there, we're going to plant the feet down on the floor, and we're going to move into our little roll-ups or alternatives. So starting off, palms on the legs, we're going to take chin to chest, squeeze the core to lift up, holding there, and then really slowly lower back down again. Remember, it's a chin to chest first movement, and then it's that squeeze of the abdominals, which is lifting the shoulders off the mat, and then we're lowering back down again. So that's option 1. You're very welcome to stay there. If you can, we're going to just bring the hands over the head, engage the core, chin to chest, reaching up. Going to hold and then slowly lower down again. So we're taking the legs, the arms away from the legs and thinking about squeezing to hold. So that's option 2. If you want to make it harder again, we're going to add in a little triple pulse. So we're going to take chin to chest, squeeze. We're going to reach that highest point and then we're going to pulse. So that pulse is coming from the squeeze of the abdominals. So you should feel that power through the abs, little pulse, and then slowly lower back down again. So if the hands are coming over the head, also think about keeping the shoulders down, practicing that lovely scapular movement. So chin to chest, squeeze, and we're pulsing. So thinking about finding that contraction through the abdominals. So we're not worrying about how far the shoulders come off the mat or the depth of that movement. It's all about finding that contraction, that squeeze, that control. So quite a simple exercise, but when you get those little micro movements on the go, when you move with control, it should feel really strong. Great job. All right, we're going to work here for 5, slow and controlled here. Moving back, 4. So keep that control. Remember, you're welcome to switch around between levels. Focus on the muscles that are working. 3. Nice job. 2. And 1. Release. Great job. Give yourself a little squeeze, a little stretch there. All right, we've got one more little exercise like this to go. We're going to take a little more of a twist into this movement. So option 1, we're going to take the hands over the head. We're going to take chin to chest. We're going to squeeze up, and we're going to reach to one side of the knees, keeping the knees where they are, strong through the core, and working to the obliques here. Slow, lower back down, hands over the head, and chin to chest, squeeze to reach and cross. So that's option 1. We're just working there, thinking about finding that reach and cross. As before, if you want to throw in a little triple pulse where you just squeeze the abs, remember that pulse isn't the hands reaching forwards, it's the abdominals contracting and releasing. Feel free. So chin to chest and squeeze, pulse, pulse, pulse. If you're feeling really strong today and you want to fire up even more, have a play, maybe taking the legs in the air. Remember, legs can be straight or micro bend in the knee, and we're just going to work with the legs off the floor, making it that little bit harder. So remember, chin to chest, and it's the contraction of the abdominals that is creating that lift. Make sure you are protecting the neck, squeezing the core Nice job. So we're just reaching slightly to one side. It doesn't feel like a massive movement. We're just trying to get that sense of a rotation through the spine, so we're working a bit more into the obliques. Awesome stuff. Working here for another 5. So we've really hammered the lower abs in this sequence. Hopefully you're starting to feel them. Say hello. 4. We're going to move into a little bit of plank work next. 3. Slow back down as well. 2. And 1. Release. Great job. Give yourself a little rock and roll. And then we're going to rock and roll all the way up and over. And find our way to a table pose. So moving here, hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips, thinking about spreading the fingers out wide, core is engaged, and from there we're going to tuck the toes and we're in a plank. So plank position, hands are underneath the shoulders. We want to find that lovely stacking of wrists to shoulders. Make sure the fingers are spread out wide. You want to feel a really strong distribution of the weight through the fingertips, not just through the heels of the hands. So that's going to protect the wrists. Thinking about pressing really hard with the hands into the mat, squeezing in the abdominals, feeling the glutes and the legs start to fire. So here we are in a lovely strong plank, and then we're going to take that into an inchworm. So we're going to start to walk the hands back towards the feet, bending the knees when we need to, if we need to, finding our way into a floppy forward fold. You can spend as long as you like there, and then we're going to walk back out again, thinking about keeping that lovely sense of power through the abs, trying not to wiggle from side to side. It might be you're just coming into more of a dog position, keeping the bum in the air. It might be that you're able to come into a plank. So we're just thinking about working there. So that's level 1, we're just taking a little inchworm. Level 2, we're going to throw in a little press up at the bottom. So we're going to throw in a little bend of the elbows, strong through the core, power back up. So that's level 2. Level 3, we're going to turn it into a T press. So we're walking the hands forwards, finding our plank. We're going to lower through the elbows into a little press up. So we're coming out, elbows sticking out, squeezing in the core. And then we're going to rotate into a side plank at the top, come back to plank, little bend of the elbows, strong core, and rotate open. So if you are not that confident taking a plank on your toes, don't forget that you can drop to the knees. So we're just taking a walk out. And then what you would do there is you would drop to the knees. Make sure the knees aren't directly under the hips. You want to maintain this sense of line from knees to head. And then you can take a little bend of the elbows, little press up, and you can rotate into a kneeling side plank from there. Return through center. So we're keeping the knees quite out behind a strong core, lowering the body in one piece, pressing on up, and rotate into a side plank with one knee down. So that's an option. So we're taking any variations. You could just be walking backwards and forwards. You can take as long as you like in a floppy forward fold. Maybe you're throwing in a press up. Maybe you're throwing into a press up and a little side plank rotation. Entirely up to you. Just thinking about keeping that sense of control. We're starting to work into the upper body here. We're thinking about working into the upper abdominals. And of course, we're getting some nice dynamic mobility and stretching. Opening up through the backs of the legs. Opening up through the chest. Just a few more here. Remember, you can rest if you need to, anytime. Take at your own pace. Nice job. And after your next walk backwards and forwards, finding your way back to a table pose. So finding your way back to a table pose next. Hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. So we're going to work into the glutes here. So make sure the fingers are spread out wide, the core is engaged. Finding that lovely long back. Make sure the belly isn't dropping down, you're not drooping through the shoulder blades. You want to imagine there's one line through the back body. From there, you're pressing really hard with the hands into the mat. We're going to extend the left foot out and then squeeze the glutes to lift the left foot to the right of the mat and back again. So the aim here is to feel like you are using the glutes, not moving the foot. So you should feel like you're squeezing the glutes, and it's that squeeze of the glutes that lifts the foot up and over. Awesome stuff, looking good. Making sure the spine is long, so the gaze is between the thumbs, or maybe just a little bit out in front of you. So squeezing to lift up and over. If at any point this gets too much for the wrists, do remember you can come down onto the forearms and work there with the forearms down. And of course, As always, if you want to make this harder, pop up into a plank, and you can take that same movement from a plank. You might not get that foot all the way over just because you are that bit higher, but you're still getting that same sense of squeezing. And when the foot moves behind you, you'll feel the glutes and the outer glutes really fire, and then back again. Working here, focusing on the breath, making sure the core is engaged. We're strengthening the full body here for 5. Moving on to the other side. Next, 4. Deep breaths in and out. Well done, looking good. 3, 2, and 1. Reset. Starting off in table, just make sure you've got that lovely strong hand position. You've got a long spine, the core is engaged. You're ready to go. Right foot out, and remember we're squeezing the glute to lift up and over. It doesn't have to be a massive movement. It might be you making quite a big arch, or it could be just quite a small movement. And what we want to do is kind of keep the spine long, try and maintain activity through the arms and the hands, and feel those glutes fire. Of course, as before, if you want to pop up into a plank, you're very welcome to. If you want to come down onto the forearms, either from plank or kneeling, and take some of the weight off the wrists, you're very welcome to as well. Remember, you're always welcome to switch around between levels. So Pilates is all about working at your level, your pace. Keep feeling into what's good for you today. It does change from day to day, what we've been doing, how we've slept. So wherever you come to, whatever you choose to do is awesome. Just be mindful and try and do what's best for you. So squeezing the glutes, working here for 5, squeezy movements, 4, nice job, 3, squeezing, 2, and 1, finding your way back to plank. From there we're going to walk the feet towards the hands and find our way into a floppy forward fold. Having a little shake out, a little wiggle out maybe, giving the head a little shake, letting the hips be high above the heels, and from there the whole spine relax down. The shoulders release, the head release. Just taking a few more breaths here. Inhaling, maybe rocking the weight into toes, feeling the hips lift higher. Exhale, the whole back body can relax. 1 more breath in. And from there, engaging the core, rolling up, stacking up vertebra by vertebra, all the way up to standing. Awesome stuff. So we've got 2 little standing exercises here. We're thinking about getting into the lower body particularly, getting into the quads and the glutes. So we're going to work a Superman and then a knee row. So our Superman, right foot is coming into the center of the mat, the hands are coming to heart center. You want to think ballet style with back legs, so the left toes are going to point. I want you to flex or point the toes, or floint, which is like a Barbie foot, and we're engaging the glutes, the core, and the quads. This right quad is staying really strong. From there, we're going to bend that right knee slightly, and then we're going to bend that right knee just to tap the left foot down to the floor and lift back up again. So what we want to do is try and make sure that we are not moving forwards, so this right knee is staying over the ankle. We're just taking a little bend and a squeezy lift. When you come up, really power into that glute. Squeeze the butt, so a little lower, and then feel both legs really squeeze to fire up. So remembering that what we're aiming for in Pilates is not to move the body, but to engage the muscles. So it's all about finding that squeeze, that strength, little bend of the knee, and lift back up. So working into the quad and the glute, make it harder, hands come over the head, and we're taking that little bend and squeezing to lift, really focusing on power. If you want to make it harder again, angle the body forward slightly, and then you can bend that right knee a little deeper, and then squeeze back up. So slow lower, make it as slow as you can, and then squeeze back up. That right glute should start to feel on fire, a little bit bend and squeeze, keeping the hips square if you can. Maybe almost imagining you're scissoring the inner legs towards each other, really strong, really controlled. The hands are over the head, we're increasing that lever length, making it a little bit harder for the abs. We're keeping the core engaged, a little lower, and strong lift. Great job. Working here for 5, moving with control, almost there, 4. Squeeze, remember, try and focus on that control. It doesn't matter about how big the movement is, quite a subtle movement. It's all about that muscular engagement. 3, nice job. Make sure that back leg doesn't get floppy. We're keeping it pointed and engaged. 2, and 1. Woo, that's got me today. Sneakily difficult, right? Take it over to the other leg. So left leg is coming to the center of the mat, hands to heart center. All right, make sure the toes are spread out wide, the core is engaged, that left glute muscle is engaged, the left quad is engaged, right toes coming out behind us. We're finding that almost ballet-like leg, right glute, right toes pointing, leg engaged, and angle forwards a little bit and starting to bend that left knee, bringing the right toes to tap, and then we're squeezing to lift. So a little bend and squeezy lift. Thinking about keeping the core engaged, just feeling into what works for you here. Remember, you have the option to take the hands over the head, keep the core engaged, little bend and squeeze. So really remember, you're lowering with control, making it as slow as possible, and then squeeze, 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 power all the way back up. Feel those glutes fire. Making it harder, we're angling the body forwards a little bit, and then that makes that range of motion, that bend of the knee, that little bit bigger. So the quads are really helping us out. We're working into a moving balance. So we're learning to stabilize, quite a long hold in a balance, and we're learning to stabilize through movement. So little lowers and lifts, hang on in there. Remember, the hips are squaring, the inner thighs are squeezing together, shoulders are down. Great job. So slow lowers and lifts, squeeze those glutes on the way up. Focus on that engagement for 5. Inhaling, exhaling. Remember, shoulders back, strong core. Almost imagine one long line from toes to head to 3. Almost there. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. 2. One more if you can. And come all the way up. Give those legs a little shake out. Well done. So those legs probably feeling a little bit burny now. We've got a really nice little exercise coming up. We're going to move into a knee row. So we're spreading the toes out wide. The left knee is going to lift. The core is engaged. Shoulders are back. So we're keeping that right leg straight and strong. We're going to inhale and exhale. Extend the left foot out behind you. Trying to just come as far as feels good. T-balance. And then we're inhaling, driving up. So we're opening through the chest. We're finding a mobilizing movement through the chest. Palms to the sky, knee to chest. And then extending, stretching out. You'll even maybe get a little stretch of the hamstring. So slowly, with control, driving up. Feel the core engaged. Nice moving balance. Extending out again, just as far as feels good. Of course, if you want to take it further, you can drive knee to chest, squeeze in the core, and maybe extend that left leg out straight, returning it, and then calming back again. So we're just challenging the abdominals a little bit more, thinking about squeezing in the core, knee to chest, and extend away. Shoulders relax. Great job. Working here for 5. Moving with control. Extend and power on up. Feel that core. Switch on. 4. Should feel like a nice dynamic movement as well. Remember, we're working on mobility, flexibility as well. 3. Great job. Almost there. Knee to chest. 2. One more if you can. We're stretching away, reaching out, powering into that right leg, and come back again. So give that right leg a little shakeroo. Just one more little balance to go. So the left foot is extending, core is engaged, hands are turning to face the front of the mat, knee rises, left quad is engaged, shoulders are relaxed, spine is long. Think about finding that engagement through the core to support that balance. Inhale and exhale, extending the legs out behind you. You don't have to come very far. It could be, oh, she says, falling over. Just be more of a 45-degree balance. We're thinking about lifting up, squeezing in that glute and that quad, and then extending away. So just finding that little knee row, trying to keep that control, really thinking about powering into that left glute, finding that lovely even distribution of weight through all 4 corners of the feet. As always, if you want to take it further, we're thinking about knee to chest, strong core, and then we're kicking out with that right foot and returning through center. So extending away, stretching out, and then starting to drive up, squeezing up, and kick on out. Great job. So any variations? Remember, when the hands come over the head, one of the things we're aiming for is to avoid the shoulders hunching by the ears. You want to feel that sense of the shoulders staying down and learning to use the muscles of the arms and the back to support that lengthening arm. Thinking about squeeze the core to drive to chest. If you're kicking out, try not to lean backwards. Keep that lift. Great job. Awesome stuff. Working here for 5. So we're going to come back down to the floor. We've got one more little plank-based exercise. A little bit of stretching. 4. And then we're back into lower abs to finish. 3. Extend and stretch. 2. And 1. Great job. Give yourself a little shakeroo. And when you're ready, we're going to take chin to chest, roll on down, plant the hands, walk the hands and the feet away from each other, and we're back into a plank. From there, drop on down to the forearms. You can interlock the hands or have the hands out long on the mat, and we are in a forearm plank. Remember, you can hold here. You can drop the knees down, in which case you're making sure the knees are away from the hips, so you've still got the body in one long line. If you are feeling it, you could take little spider legs. So we're going to lift up one leg, externally rotate, take left knee to left tricep, and back again. So we're thinking about working into the glutes a little bit again, getting a slight external rotation through the hips, keeping the core engaged, the spine long. So we're just drawing knee to elbow, strong through the core, and back again. Perfect. So thinking about keeping the core engaged, try not to let the tummy droop, try not to let the shoulder blades droop. Working here for 5 with control. Won't be here too long. Really squeeze the glutes. Remember, it's the glutes that are powering this movement. 4. Great job. 3. Almost there. 2. And 1. From there, we're just going to drop the hips down and find our way into a little Sphinx pose. So elbows underneath the shoulders. Give the hips a little shimmy, let the spine lift, and breathe. Inhaling. Exhaling, great job. One more breath here. Deep inhale. Exhale. Great job. From there, we're going to take the hands underneath the shoulders, take the knees out wide, send hips to heels, and just find a wide leg child's pose. So thinking about sending the hips right down towards the heels, feeling the spine extend and lengthen. Just taking one breath in and out here. From there, we're going to take the right hand, palm face up, and the right shoulder down onto the mat. So we're taking the right hand underneath the left armpit and finding that lovely stretch through the right shoulder. Just shimmy yourself around, find a variation that feels super nice for you. I'm just going to breathe into that stretch, into that. Inhaling. Exhaling. So really deep, full breaths, opening up through the shoulder, lengthening out through the spine. Really deep breaths in and working here for 3. Inhale. Exhale. 2. 1 more really deep breath in and from there coming back through center, extending that right arm out. Inhale. And exhale, taking the left shoulder down onto the mat. So we're just shimmying ourselves around, finding that lovely stretch with the left shoulder, feeling the spine extend long. Inhaling. And exhaling, lovely deep stretch. Open up through that left shoulder, letting the spine extend. The eyes and the jaw soften. Deep, full breaths in. And out, just giving those shoulders a little bit of space and time and attention for 3. Inhale. Exhale. 2. 1 more deep breath in. And from there, we're coming back up to seated. Now we're going to swing both legs out in front of us and move into a little bit of hammy opening. So left leg out, right foot comes into the left inner thigh. Thinking about inhale, reaching up, angling the body over that left leg, and from there start to take a little forward fold. We're thinking about drawing the left hip backwards, the spine extends forwards. Grounding down with the sit bones, inhale, reaching up, and thinking about that hinge coming from the hip. So hinging at the hip and imagining that the the lower rib cage is moving towards the knee. Try not to let this right shoulder pike up, but keep both shoulders in line, and trying to breathe into that stretch. Inhaling. Exhaling. Remember, if you need to have a bend in that left knee, you're super welcome to. If you'd like to use a strap, you're also very welcome. Inhaling to lengthen and extend. Exhaling to relax. We're opening up space in the hamstrings and the lower back. Super important for healthy spine. So relaxing on the exhales, working here for 3. Inhale. Exhale. 2. 1 more deep breath in. And out. From there, walking the hands back up, and we're just going to swap over. So right leg is extending, left foot is coming in. Inhale, reaching up, angling over the right leg, and taking that little forward fold. Think about moving the hips backwards, feeling the spine extend forwards. Inhaling. Exhaling. So feeling that sense of lengthening through the spine and through the hamstrings. So remember, just take any variations. If you need to take a bend, if you want to use a strap, try to keep this left shoulder from piking up too much. Thinking about inhaling, exhaling, relax. Perfect. Working here for 5. Deep breaths in. And out 4. So lengthening out long. 3. Deep full breaths in and out. 2. Taking one more inhale. Exhale. Great job. From there, we're going to roll on up and find our way to a boat pose. So we're thinking about keeping the core engaged, shoulders back, finding the sit bones on the floor, and maybe starting off with the hands behind you. We are finding our way into a boat. Remember, you want to keep that spine long. Almost imagine that you're drawing the tummy button towards the sky. You can stay there. You can have the hands behind you. You can extend the arms out, or you can extend the legs. Thinking about squeezing in the core. We're just going to take a static hold to start off with. Any variation, starting to feel that power. Thinking about squeezing the core, lifting up with the chest, finding that little V-shaped position, holding there for 5. Deep breaths in and out. Perfect. Hands behind you. Legs can be straight or bent. Arms out in front of you. Any variations. 4. Deep breaths in and out. Really squeeze. 3. Working on balance and abdominal strength. 2. And 1. All right, from there, we're just going to let the legs fall down. Shimmy the hips out behind us and find a double leg forward fold. So the legs are out in front of us. We're going to inhale to lift, angle the body forwards, and then from there, we are folding down. Thinking about shimmying the hips out, moving from the base of the spine, letting the lower rib cage move towards the knees. So inhaling, feeling the crown of the head reach up, the body weight, and the move forward, the spine extend, and then relaxing downwards on the exhale. So opening up space in the lower back. Working here for 5. Inhaling. Exhaling. Shoulders relaxing. 4. Deep breaths in and out. So starting to feel into the lower back. So slightly different from the last stretch. This is getting more into the lower back than it is into the hamstrings. 3. Inhale. Exhale. 2. 1 more deep breath in. And great job. From there, we're rolling on up, finding our way to seated. So we've got the sit bones down. The knees are in the air. The feet are coming back. So we're back into a boat pose. So you're very welcome to have the hands behind you. What we're going to do here is we're going to move the toes from one side of the mat to the other. So we're working into a little corkscrew exercise. The aim is to lift up and over. So it might be that you've got the hands behind you. You can also come down onto the forearms and work there. That can make it a little bit easier as well. Thinking about keeping the chest lifted. Of course, if you're feeling it, you could take those legs straight. So we're lifting right up and over, a little bit harder again. Of course, if you're feeling on fire this morning and you want to take the hands up over the head, I find this weirdly difficult one direction compared to the other, you're very welcome to. So lots of options. You can take a bend in the knee, hands can be lifted, hands can be on the mat, legs can be straight or bent, whatever's working for you. We're thinking about keeping the core engaged, the chest lifted. We're aiming to use the muscles of the lower belly and the side body to support that twist. Great job. Cool, looking good. Working here for 5. So lifting up and over, really squeeze. 4. Well done. You got this. Almost there. 3. Great job. 2. And 1. Nice work. From there, we're going to plant the feet down on the floor, roll all the way down to lie on our backs. So from there, just give yourself a little squeeze, a little stretch. Just plant the feet down if you like, take the arms out wide, and we'll just take a little windscreen wiper through the legs, so work the lower abs quite hard, just having a little bit of release there, little wiggle wiggle from side to side. Nice work. All right, from here we are going to work into another little twisting exercise. We're going to take a cross crunch. So starting off with the feet on the mat, the hands are down, hands are on the temples, and we're going to inhale and exhale, squeeze the core, take opposite elbow to knee, and then slowly return back through center. So chin to chest, squeeze, cross over, opposite elbow to knee, and slowly returning back down again. So we're thinking about squeezing in the core, lifting, and working into that contraction of the abs. Option to stay there, of course. Option if you want to take this further, we're going to take chin to chest and we're going to take opposite elbow to knee, extend one leg and coming back through center. So in this little variation, the lower abs have to work harder to stabilize, and but we're still getting that sense of twisting through the spine. Bring opposite elbow to knee. Of course, if you want to make it harder again, legs come straight, feet can be flexed or pointed, and we're going to squeeze the core, extend out with one leg, extending that lever length, making it that little bit harder again. So you've got the option to have one foot grounded. Remember, focus on that sequential movement. So it's chin to chest first, and then squeeze to crunch and cross. Working here, making sure the lower back is on the floor if the legs are off the mat. Making it slow and controlled. Inhaling to prepare, exhaling to squeeze. Working here for 5. Deep breaths in and out. 4 squeezy movements. 3. Almost there. 2. And 1. Great job. Give yourself a little squeeze, a little hugging. And then from there, moving straight into reverse curl, palms face down the mat, engaging the core. Knees are in a tiny little ball, and we're going to squeeze the abs to lift the pelvis off the mat, slowly reset. So it's very similar to the bottom of a dynamic bridge. We're using the abs to lift with control the tailbone off the mat, and then very slowly reset. Knees are coming into chest first. Make it slow, make it controlled, and then very slow release back down. Of course, if you want to make it harder, legs can be straight, and we're taking that same movement up and down with an extended lever. Try to make it as slow and controlled as you can, so you might come up a little bit further again if you're able to. But what we're aiming to do, wherever we are, is focus on squeezing to lift. Feel like you could pause at any point in the motion, particularly when you're coming back down again. The slower you go, the harder the work is going to be. So knees can be on the chest, squeeze and on in. Slow and controlled lift and lower. We're targeting those lower abdominals again. So option to work there, option to lift up and over, whatever works for you. We're thinking about squeezing, moving with control, really slow lift and lower. Perfect. Working here for 5, so really slow, really controlled. 4. Great job. Feel that squeeze, that lift. 3. Nice work. 2. And 1. Well done. Give yourself a little squeeze there, little stretch in. And we'll take a quick little stretch. So extending the left leg out, hugging in with the right knee. Take left hand to the right knee, drawing the right knee across the chest and extending the right leg away from you. Just making sure that right hip is stacking over left. You might want to move the left hip a little so you find that lovely stacking. And then from there, we're extending the right hand and right knee away from each other long and releasing the right shoulder and right knee down to the mat. So we're just mobilizing through the lower back, finding a little stretch maybe through the outside of the right leg for 3. Inhale. Exhale. 2. 1 more really deep breath in. And from there, we're going to come back through center, and we're going to take that on the other side. So right leg extends, hugging with the left knee, and we're just going to take the right hand to the left knee, drawing the left knee across the chest, opening the left arm away from us, maybe letting the gaze turn out, and feeling that lovely full sense of extending the left hand away from left knee. Inhaling and exhaling, softening down. Lovely release through the left, through the lower back, through the chest. Inhaling and exhaling. Just going to work here for 3 deep breaths in and 2. Really steady breaths. 1 more inhale. Exhale. And from there, coming back through center, give yourself a little squeeze, a little hug in. All right, from here, we're going to take the knees over the hips, lower abdominal exercise. 1 more, and then we'll take a bit of more stretching. So knees over hips, lower back is on the floor, shoulders stay down. Make sure the lower back isn't arching. And from there, we're going to take our little urban runner exercise. So we're starting off with knees over hips, feet are parallel with the mat, and then we're going to extend out with one leg and extend out with the other to meet it. The knee then comes back in towards the chest, and we extend a little higher, knee comes back into chest, extend a little higher. So it's like you're walking upstairs in the sky. We're just taking a little knee in and extension, and then we're going to walk it back down again, which again is one of those ones which weirdly I find really challenging for coordination. So knee into chest, extend, and back again. So we're just taking this whatever range of motion feels good for you. It might be that you just stay in one plane, you're just driving one knee in, extending out with the opposite leg. It might be that you don't want to fully extend the legs, you want to keep a micro bend in the knee all the time. The aim is to keep the lower back on the floor. Essentially, it's a variation of a leg lower and a hold. So it's a nice little combo. We're squeezing in the core, we're maintaining stability in one leg and moving the other as we move the legs up and down. So really great way to strengthen the lower abs. Have to control the movement as well. It's an asymmetric movement, so have to work quite hard to keep both hips down. So we're just lowering and lifting, and of course great for the old noggin as well, trying to work out how to walk up and down. So knees into chest and back again. So our little urban runner exercise, like we're walking up and down stairs in the sky. The lower the legs come to the floor, the harder the work's going to be. So as if we were in a hollow body hold, if the legs come quite low to the floor, that's going to be much harder. If the legs are more directly over the body, that's when it becomes easier. So any variations, work that range of motion, keeping the upper body relaxed. Great job. We're going to work here for 5. So slow, controlled movements. 4. Squeezing in the abdominals, thinking about that control. 3. Well done. 2. And 1. Nice job. Give yourself a massive squeeze. Little rock and roll. Maybe drawing some circles with both knees in one direction, just warming up the lower back. And the other way. And from there, plant both feet down on the floor. We're going to take the left ankle to the right knee and find a supine pigeon. So this might be enough for you here if you're feeling tight. It might be you can take your hands around the back of the right thigh or underneath the right knee. So finding this little figure of 4 stretch here. As we draw the knee into the chest, you're aiming to find a lovely stretch down through the back of the left glute, the back of the left leg. The shoulders and upper body are staying relaxed. Deep breaths in and down. So stretching into the back of the legs, the shoulders are staying relaxed. Finding that lovely stretch for 5. Inhale. Exhale. 4. So just giving those legs a little bit of attention. They've worked really hard in that standing sequence. 3. Shoulders relaxing, spine long. 2. 1 more. Inhale. Exhale. And from there, we're just going to reset and take our left foot down, right ankle onto left knee, maybe staying there, maybe taking the hands around the back of the left thigh, maybe taking it all the way through to that left shin, and once again, just taking a lovely big deep stretch through the back of the right leg. The shoulders are relaxing, feeling the spine extend. So almost imagine that the tailbone is moving to the floor, the back of the neck is long, and we're finding that lovely deep stretch. Inhaling. Exhaling. Steady flow with the breath. Working here for 5. Deep breaths in. And out. 4. Inhaling. Exhaling. Shoulders releasing. 3. It's a lovely deep stretch in and out. 2. 1 more. Inhale. Exhale. From there, releasing. We're going to take the hands to the knees. Just draw some circles with the knees away from each other and towards each other. And from there, taking a happy baby. So taking the peace sign fingers around the big toes, knees in towards the armpits. Think about the lower back extending down towards the floor. The soles of the feet are coming to the sky. The shoulders are relaxed. Really lovely deep stretch through the hips, extending through the lower back. Deep inhales. And exhales there. Perfect. Lovely little stretch for 5. Inhaling. So letting the blood come back to the heart. 4. Releasing through the hips. 3. 2. And one. Finally, just bringing the soles of the feet together, maybe letting the hands extend over the head, or if you prefer, just kicking out with the feet long on the mat, taking the feet out wide and the knees knock in, whatever at all feels nice for you. We're just going to take 5 deep breaths in and out. Taking some time to rest and reset. Just be with the breath after all that hard work. So deep, full breaths into the lower belly, into the side body, into the back body. For another 3, inhaling. Exhaling. Feeling every muscle release down on the exhale. 2. One more really deep, full breath in. And out. And from there, just give yourself a fun little squeeze and wiggle and stretch. And rock your way up to seated. Just taking our final few little stretches, finding your way to a comfortable cross-legged or any other seated position. From there, we're just going to interlock the hands, turn the palms up to the sky, take a lovely big yawn, feeling the sit bones ground and the side body stretch deep. Inhale. Exhale. And then from there, chin to chest, pressing the backs of the hands towards the front of the room, drawing the shoulders down and apart, finding once again that lovely stretch, this time through the upper back. Deep breath in. And out. And finally, pressing the chest forward, taking the arms out wide, lovely big deep stretch to the chest. Deep inhale. Exhale. And have a beautiful rest of your day. Thank you all so much for joining. Well done. Namaste. Great job, team.